Gabe, we got to keep adjusting to new information. Free agent frenzy is underway or through the first couple of weeks. Justin Fields, the new future in New York for the Jets. Are you trading away your Michael Penix, though, to get into Justin Fields in the 208?
Oh, man, Ty. I think I'm going to stick with Michael Penix, man.
All right, let's talk about it.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Welcome in, everyone. I am Ty at TyDeclare44. That's Gabe at IGabe_FF. And this is another episode of the All Gas Trade Show. Welcome in. DDFFB popping in these streets. 4K on the YouTube. Let's go. Maybe we can get up to 5K in the next month here. Let's go, people. If you're not subbed yet, now's the time. Hit that sub button, hit like, engage in the comments with the people. Gabe, speaking of people who are engaged in the comments, how are you doing, man? How's your Saturday been so far, and what's up?
Yeah, man, doing good. It's been definitely a busy Saturday so far. Just running around, feel like a chicken with my head cut off over here, running some errands with the family, but overall pretty good, man. Excited to talk some ball with you. And I see that you're in a different room, not your usual setup.
No, so I haven't had internet for the last week. So I packed up all my stuff, got on my Sea Lion and my mush dogs, and we gone over to the closest igloo that had Wi-Fi. It happened to be my friend's house, so we got in here. We're all set up. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We are here for the people. So Let's get some housekeeping out of the way really quick. Let's start an underdog. Use code ALLGAS, get up to 1,000 in bonus cash and your special pick to sign up. DDFFB, again, like, subs, comment, all that good stuff. ddfantasyfootball.com, use code TRADES or TRADEGOAT, get 50% off the All Conference Plus Discord, or my recommendation, the GOAT tier. Get everything DD has to offer. Codes in the description below. Also below, you'll find all the links to Spotify, Apple, if you use that, I guess, if you're an Apple person. We got Ike and Gene dropping Off the Line. We got Ed and Coach dropping Best Ball Night School. Like, content daily, people. Let's go. Oh yeah. I mean, Gabe, do we have to belabor the point anymore here? I mean, the people know, right? Like patreon.com/allgas. It's where you're going to get in still. So let's get back to this Justin Fields here. So I mean, again, people like Penix. We've gone over this on the show. People like Penix. He's steamed up, but I mean, he is a pocket passing style quarterback, right?
Yeah.
We got Justin Fields in the 208. It's a 12-team start 10 super flex, 0.5 PPR, 0.5 tight end premium, +4 passing, -2 interceptions. So it's a format that does lean itself to the rushing quarterback. And I mean, Gabe, the way I like to play my quarterback, I mean, if you're not like a locked and loaded top 16 option, maybe I want to try to fade that a bit and play in the quarterback 20 type range. And if I'm going to choose a quarterback in that range, they're probably going to be rushing. So, I mean, Justin Fields, he has opportunity now. He should be the starter, and you get 208 in a deep class. But, I mean, it's probably just still Penix here.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is kind of where I go with this, right? I mean, Justin Fields, we really liked him kind of coming out, right? Coming out of college, we really liked him. But Ty, we've seen this Justin Fields experience, man, in different places now. Different, you know what I mean? This is going to be his third team now. I feel like I know what I'm kind of getting with Justin Fields. It's going to be really nice rushing on the ground, but it's going to be a lot of inaccuracies and a lot of inefficiency, as far as a passing quarterback goes. And so I don't think Justin Fields' leash, if you will, in New York will be very long. I do think that any, not literally any, but, any mistakes that he makes, he's probably not going to be the locked in and loaded starter, every game, right? Like, there's definitely an opportunity that he gets benched very early on if he doesn't perform up to the expectations. And so the way that I like to play, man, I just want to have something a little bit more secure. And right now in this class that we've talked about, right, where there's, Michael Penix has kind of been penciled in as he would be quarterback 1 or quarterback 2 in this class, right? So for me, he's definitely still worth more than a first at this point, or just around a first in value. And so I really just would like to lean that side. Again, I've seen the Justin Fields experience now a couple different times, and I'm just not willing to buy into it, man. I want to use Justin Fields as a piece in my trades to get something better. That's what I would like to do with my Justin Fields shares.
Yeah, we're in lockstep there. If I can use my Justin Fields with this new hype and get into something that maybe fits better, maybe it's more flexible, maybe I can use it more like a Penix. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And I'm looking at startup ADP right now, just from the last couple of weeks. Michael Penix, top of the 5th round. Justin Fields has already jumped like a whole round up into the 8th, right? So the rise is there. He used to be a 1st round startup pick in Dynasty, man. Like people do like him, but I'm not going to be the one that bets on the New York Jets as an organization to get us through here. So I will just take Penix and I'll use my Fields to get in there. So I like that. I like what you said.
I mean,
go ahead.
While we're going through to the next trade, like if we think about it, man, a month ago you couldn't even get a 3rd round pick for Justin Fields. Like, it's such a fickle game, and I know that we obviously adapt with the new information that we get, but at the end of the day, like, people like Justin Fields until they don't. You know what I mean? And that's just the reality of it. They don't like him. They like him until they don't, and then at that point they're ready to move on from him too.
I mean, if you were looking for an opportunity to get out, now's a good time. And maybe it's even like a straight swap within a tier. Like, let's say you're in a 12-team start 12.5 PPR league. You have that Justin Fields. You want to get into a Geno. You're going to take the age back. A 34-year-old quarterback in Geno versus like a 26-year-old in Fields. So you switch that. And on the Field side, you get Xavier Worthy in the 410. But with Geno Smith, you get Terry McLaurin, Marshawn Lloyd in the 303. So, Gabe, let's play a little bit of cross off here. I mean, I think the best player in the deal is Worthy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
But again, we've kind of been talking about like, how do I want to use a player or what I want to do. And I mean, at wide receiver there, like if I can give up some of that perceived value in Worthy, like get off the Kansas City knucklehead curse, I guess, like just every wide receiver has to go do something dumb to get into our boy Terry McLaurin. I'm okay to give that value up. If I can get into something I like. And I mean, I'm looking at JB's tiers right now. Geno Smith, Justin Fields, same tier, right? So if you want to make a pivot like that, if you believe in Geno more, you believe in Fields more, that feels like a pretty good handoff. And I'm looking at Dynasty Daddy's trade database right now too. And guess what? There's multiple Geno for a first deal or Fields for a first or Geno and Fields swaps. So you can use them. I definitely want Marshawn Lloyd in the 3rd over a 410. But I guess how much is that worthy to McLaurin swap for you? And how do you break this one down?
Yeah, man. So I think to your point, Geno Smith, Justin Fields, it's kind of just take your pick on who you like. Me personally, I like Justin Fields' rushing upside, but just from a pure quarterback standpoint, I do think Geno Smith is probably the move here. He, obviously with him going to Las Vegas, like I think he's been a good quarterback now for 2-3 years now, like consistently he's been a good quarterback, right? He's produced for us in fantasy. He's even been a good NFL quarterback, right? I mean, at times he's going to show obviously the flashes of Geno Smith that we're accustomed to seeing from years ago. But the reality is that he's been a very consistent quarterback, which is why he has been a starter, right, for multiple years now. Whereas on the Justin Fields side, like it's been very hot and cold. It's been very hot and cold. So for me personally, JB, I think you mentioned JB had him in the same tier. They are probably in the same tier for me. I probably lean Geno Smith a little bit more than Justin Fields, just from a pure, again, just from what I've seen in the past couple of years, the consistency aspect of it. So I'll take Geno Smith over Justin Fields, but again, it's very close. And then Worthy to McLaurin. I do want Worthy over McLaurin, but it's probably a lot closer than I think. I mean, it's probably pretty close for me. I think Terry McLaurin, now with the signing of Deebo Samuel too, I think there's a world where Terry McLaurin, man, could outscore Xavier Worthy next year. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a world, right? I mean, he outscored him this year. He outproduced him this year. So why couldn't that trend continue into next year? Obviously right now we give the nod to Worthy just because he's the younger asset in Dynasty. But the reality is that I think these players score very similar next year. And then you're giving me a 303 and Marshawn Lloyd. I'll gladly take Geno Smith, Terry McLaurin, Marshawn Lloyd in a 303.
Yeah. And I mean, a 12 by 12, Lloyd, any running back on a 53. Okay, I'll just collect them. 303. Okay, I'll use it. Like that's fine.
It's fine.
But yeah, I'm happy to, like I said, give up that Worthy, get into a McLaurin. And I'm with you. I think I'm taking Geno over Fields. But if I'm thinking like what is going to rise in value, like what could be the piece that gains more steam, it's probably Fields and it's probably Worthy. So it's a good deal. I'm going to take the Geno side just because I like that side, but it's a good deal. And if you have Fields, again, now is your time. Go act. Let us know in the comments. What are you doing with your Justin Fields? You buying, you selling, you holding? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think this is, you said it, man. This is the window of opportunity that we've all been waiting for to sell him. So I think if you have the opportunity, I don't see why you would wait for anything else. Speaking
of windows to sell, you missed yours with Javonte Williams because Miles Sanders got signed, and I'm just going to assume Genty's going to the Cowboys until he doesn't. So Javonte Williams being sent away, you're getting Kirk Cousins and a 26th fourth. Yeah, I mean, 4th round picks, they're fine things to kind of jam into deals to get things done. And Kirk Cousins, I like collecting him as any quarterback on a 2 deep strategy right now. He's cheap. People don't know what to think about him. But what I do know is for Javonte, Gabe, tell me if I'm wrong. Any 3rd round pick, he can go.
I mean, yeah, probably, man. That's probably the price that you're wanting to get for Javonte Williams. Nobody's going to pay you a second for him. I mean, I know that people love themselves an RB in Dallas. So yes. I do know that is definitely, people always want to pencil those Dallas Cowboys running backs as like the next thing. In this deal, man, I do believe Kirk Cousins will become a starter someday somewhere. Don't know if that's just from a pure backup standpoint, and then the starter gets injured and he just gets another opportunity, or what that looks like. But I do think that he gets another shot. And we've seen before, time and time again, that spot start quarterbacks, when they get the start, it's worth a 3rd, it's worth a 2nd, depending on the quarterback. Like, I don't think Javonte, I guess it's a more difficult path for the Javonte Williams to assume the value all the way up to a 2nd again. So with that being said, I would just take Kirk Cousins in the 4th and just pack Javonte's bags, man.
Yeah. I mean, I sent away Javonte in a league I sent away Javonte and Michael Wilson for Pollard in the 311 in a 12 by 11. I paid for shipping on that one. Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, yeah, like if I can use Javonte like that, cool. Like I'm good to give away that perceived opportunity, because guess what gets you every time? Thinking that you got opportunity locked up in March when we got more free agency, we got the draft, we got preseason to get through. So if someone wants to be convicted on Javonte, I'm happy to let them be.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't really have any kind of like settings on this one. So again, like I think any kind of league, I'm still just going to take Kirk, and maybe a 1 quarterback league, I'll take Javonte, I guess. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah. Other than that, good job, Mad Cows. Stevo's got us here. We got a 12-team start 10 super flex 2.0 tight end premium. The league could be dead by 2027. I mean, we could be dead by 2027, Gabe. This is an
hopefully not.
Fingers crossed, but we got an Empire pot here. So it looks like Stevo won last year. They're going for the Empire pot. They're pushing in. They won last year, so I'm assuming they have a team full of win now pieces.
Yep.
So our boy, he sent away Sam Darnold. Oh, my boy, Sam Darnold, really. Yeah.
Your boy, Sam Darnold.
I'll own that Sammy Darnold. That I will hold that.
It's paying off, though.
That bag just got a little heavier. So Jerry Jeudy, 1.9 and a 2027 first being acquired for Puka Nacua and a 2027 second. I mean, again, 12 by 10. I'm going for the Empire pot. I'm assuming I have quarterback good. Jerry Jeudy's not my bottom line. 1.9, 27 first. What can I do with it? I think it's just Puka. Like if you put it in a trade calculator, it's probably fair, Gabe, but I'm just going to take Puka in a second and be happy.
Yeah. I mean, for those that don't know, right, an Empire pot is basically if you win back-to-back years, then the league folds and you redraft and that person wins the pot, essentially, right? They win all the money from all the years that have been kind of adding up until they have a back-to-back champion. So that's kind of the way an Empire pot works, right? So for 27, if it sounds like Stevo won last year, his team's probably ready to go. So he's probably right. If he wins again this year, this league will fold and they'll have to redraft. And so the picks that he's moving right now in 2027 won't mean anything. So I agree.
Literally is not a real year in this league.
Yeah. It might not be. It might not be, especially if Stevo keeps acquiring players like Puka. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, so I'm good with taking and getting the hammer. I do think, though, just from a pure value standpoint, if you will, I do think he gave up a pretty good. He gave up a pretty penny worth of value, right? I mean, I would say it's a little bit over 3 firsts worth of value to get Puka Nacua. So for me, again, I'm happily going to take Puka Nacua, depending on what his quarterback construction looks like. But I could definitely see a world where if I'm not competing and you need a quarterback and you break it into something like this, like it's not the worst move that you could make either, right? But I do want Puka Nacua in the 27 second over Sam Darnold, Jared Jeudy, the 109 and a 27 first.
Yeah, if I'm just thinking like what's going to be the difference maker in a league like this, I'm not going to put my money on Darnold, Jeudy, 109 or that 27 first being that. I think Puka is the only thing that's really that. I mean, let's just talk about Sam Darnold really quick here. Like again, he looks like he got a starting job, which was pretty much the bet the entire time if you were playing the Sam Darnold game. So good work, everyone. We did it. We got through the tough part. Now he's on Seattle. Now what you do with Darnold is up to you. Do you cash out? Do you hold? Do you hope that he can actually just be a starting quarterback for your fantasy teams? I'm looking at Dynasty Daddy right now. Sam Darnold in 110 for Kenneth Walker in 203 and a 10-team start 9. I mean, if I'm in a 10-team league, I'm sending Darnold away for whatever I can get and just plain thin at quarterback. Yep. But I mean, Sam Darnold for a 26 first. Sam Darnold in 211 for Javonte Smith in a 12-team start 9. Sam Darnold for DK Metcalf in 207 in a 12-team start 9.
Oh, yeah.
Sam Darnold for 111 and a third. So if you wanted out on Darnold and you wanted a first value, the bag's right there. Go get it. So anything else on Darnold or anything else on this deal?
No, man. The only thing that I'm curious of, though, is just what are your thoughts on Davante Adams signing with the Rams now? How do you feel like that opens up the offense for Puka, or do you feel like it hurts him? What do you feel like that looks like? It's
good for Puka, good for Stafford, good for Kyron, good for LA, good for the entire city of LA just to have Davante Adams in the building. I remember Ray was saying who's going to score more touchdowns between Adams and Puka? I think that's really a coin flip. I could see Davante eating more in the red zone, but I think, and I love the way that you think about receiver, my friend. Like when we were talking Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams, you're like, well, adding that guy is only going to open him up more, right? Yeah. And I think it's the same case here, right? Like adding Adams to this offense helps Puka. It helps everyone. It should open up everything. And I mean, I'm just excited for the fantasy points that will probably continue to flow out of the Rams. So
yeah, man, I agree with that. I agree. I think Matt Stafford's a huge beneficiary of this, right? Especially getting 2 incredible wide receivers. Not that Cooper Kupp wasn't, right? But Cooper Kupp was starting to show his age a little bit more than Davante Adams is. And so I think it's good for Kyron. I think it's good for the entire offense, to your point, man. I'm definitely excited to see, again, the Rams just continue to do Rams things, if you will.
Yes, sir. Speaking of doing Ram things, Tim made a deal. There's no Rams in the deal, but he made a deal in a 12-team start 11 Superflex tight end premium, 2.0 tight end premium, running back first down 0.5. So it's a good format to hold that. Saquon Barkley. So you got Saquon Barkley 1.6 and 3.9. He sent away Jalen McMillan 101 and 2.10. Gabe. Just gonna hit that applause button, man. Talk to me here. Saquon 101, McMillan 1.6. Talk to me here. 12-team start 11, tight end premium, running back first down bonuses.
I mean, I know it's March, right? But it's kind of looking like Genty's going to be the locked in 101, right? I mean, at this point, so let's just put some names right to these picks, if you will. So the 101 man, Genty, everybody's excited for him, but dude. Saquon freaking Barkley, dude, just got paid. He just got paid. He's in Philly. He's playing incredible. Just won, man, the Super Bowl. Like, he's going to continue to do Saquon things, in my opinion. And for that, like, I'm more than happy, like, going to be shipping away the 101. And then on top of that, right, like, you're giving me a 106 added into the deal. So you're asking me to move 5 spots back. And all I'm having to toss in is a Jalen McMillan. I mean, Ty, you're hoping and praying that Genty can become Saquon Barkley, man. You're hoping and praying that he can become Saquon Barkley. And this is where the part of fantasy football that can kind of get a little sticky is we value youth a little bit too much. I mean, why would you want a guy that could potentially do what Saquon is actively doing right now? I mean, he's active, and I mean, he probably could be the RB1 next year again, and nobody would even bat an eye at it, right? Like you would just be like, oh yeah, that's expected from Saquon Barkley. And you're giving me a 106, man. Like this is a smash for Tim. Like I love this deal. I would be very happy to move my 101 for this type of package.
Yeah, man. I mean, Saquon Barkley, he just went for like 2,200 all-purpose yards with only a little over 200 yards receiving. I mean, you think about Saquon, what do you think? Like catching balls, like being athletic. And so 2,000 on the ground in the Philadelphia offense, consolidated as all hell. Yeah, you're hoping and praying that Genty falls into a situation like that. So this is one of those perfect situations where I will give up the perceived value of that 101 to get into something similar, because then we play the Delta game, Gabe. I mean, Jalen McMillan or 106. Shouts out to McMillan, but like Evans, Godwin, Baker, the whole band's back together. McMillan should be a nice in the slot, but I'm taking 106 there.
Easily. Easily.
Capital E, easily. And then I'll give you 210 for the 3.9 just to get the deal done.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, again, this is a smash for me, like for Tim's side. I like Jalen McMillan a lot, but to your point, he was thriving when there wasn't that many mouths to feed, and now all the guys are coming back, right, healthy, and I'm expecting him to still be, targeted, right? Absolutely. Like he's not going to go be a zero. He's definitely earned a spot on that team as the wide receiver 3. But to your point, man, he still has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin there. And those are going to be the beneficiaries and the main targets for Baker. And so, yeah, man, this is a fantastic deal for Tim.
I like McMillan, but he's a means to an end for me. Like if you drafted him, you probably should have used him, like I said, down the stretch to go soup up your rosters, or maybe try to use him to get into something else. And I'm happy to use him in a deal like this. So good work. A little bit of sicko mode there from Tim. Like just truly a great deal. Quick one quarterback, start 10. Let's assume 12 teams. Sure. DK Metcalf or James Cook. The people know I'm biased on James Cook. I will continue to be biased on James Cook. I don't want James Cook. So I guess I'm taking DK Metcalf. What say you, my friend?
Well, I'm definitely not as, I don't want James Cook as Ty. Let's just say that. I'm not as convicted that I don't want James Cook. I do like James Cook. But typically, man, I just feel like I can figure running back out. I like DK Metcalf, and I think he's going to be good in the Pittsburgh offense. I'm not, again, 100% sure what that looks like, just since it is a little bit of a lower pass volume offense. But I am excited to see what he can do there with Russ and with GP. So I think for that, man, I'll just take the receiver and just know that I can probably move DK a little bit easier than I can James Cook.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I think people like the name DK and are a little bit more bought into the DK side than the James Cook side personally.
Definitely. But hey, if you're looking for, I mean, again, like DK to Pittsburgh, like it's a little questionable, right? Like especially if Pickens stays in town, but it feels like we haven't seen what's left to come, and like we haven't seen everything out of Pittsburgh yet. Like something more is going to come. The draft's going to come. Like things will shake out. So reserve your final bottom line reservations on DK until things actually shake out. And if you want out, I guess go stand up for James Cook. I wouldn't do that personally, but I'll just take DK there.
Yeah.
Okay. JB got us with one here. I think we reviewed this team last time, I want to say. Just this disgusting God squad, but 10 teams, start 12, 2 quarterback, tiered PPR. So you got a 0.5 for running backs, 1 point for wide receivers, 1.5 for tight ends. You got a point per first down. Quarterback's a little less than the rest of the skill positions, 6-point passing touchdown. We'll go over the roster in a second here. The 26 first to be mid 4 to 7 range, if we can really project it out that far. No one values tight ends at all. Okay. Our boy JB sent away your boy, CJ Stroud.
He did.
1.9, a 26 first. That again should be mid, 206 and a 26 second. So 5 decent pieces. Gets back T. Higgins, 101 and 201. Okay, Gabe. We're gonna have to cross some things off, but your boy's on the board, so I'm gonna have you lead us off here.
All right, man. All right. Anytime you see CJ on the board, just know that I'm a little biased to that side already as it is, just a little bit. So immediately, Ty, I'm trying to cross some things off, right? I think 201 is where I want to start just because my eyes go directly there. 206 and a 26 second for the 201. I mean, you move up 5 spots, and all you have to do is give up a second in the 26 class. I mean, I feel like people would be happy to make that move, right?
And if you're not convicted on a guy at 2-1 and you want to just kick back, get some value, like I don't hate 2-6 in a second, so I think that's a fair cross off.
Yeah, and being that it's a 10 team, I mean, really that 201 is a 111, right? So again, people are more than happy to move in from the 205 to a 111 and just pay in an extra second. Like people would do that, I would say, most of the time. If you're really convicted on a guy in the late first, people would be okay with doing that, right? So that's kind of where my mind goes initially. So that leaves us with CJ 109 and then a 26 first for T Higgins and the 101. So then I guess it's time to talk about CJ Stroud, right? So CJ Stroud or the 101.
In a 10-team league,
yeah,
I'm gonna take 101. I think in a 12-team league, it's CJ Stroud. Like I'm happy to take CJ Stroud there, but 10-team league, I'm just gonna lean 101 there. I think I like to play a 10-team superflex league a lot more like a 1-quarterback league, simply because there's not the scarcity at quarterback. There's 20 starting quarterbacks for all the fantasy teams in your league. There's 32 starting quarterbacks on a weekly basis, so I can find a quarterback start if I need it. So I don't need to consolidate into CJ per se on there. So I'll take 101.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you there. I would take the 101 over CJ, as much as it pains me to say, only because it is a 10-team league. I know. Only because it is a 10-team league, man. And at the end of the day, to your point, there is an abundance of quarterbacks. I know it's a start 2 quarterback, but to your point, there's still 20 quarterbacks that have to actively start each week, and there's 32. So there's an abundance. There's going to be an abundance of quarterbacks. So that means that personally, it values the positional players for me a little bit more. And that's where I lean the 101 over CJ Stroud. So that delta, and then it basically leaves a 109 and the 26 first for T Higgins, which personally is a little bit rich. I would not want to pay the 109 and the 26 first for T Higgins, but sometimes, man, you got to give a little to get a little, right? And so there is a little bit of a delta between the 101 and CJ for me personally. And so I don't think that necessarily is made up from the 109 and the 26 first and T Higgins, but I can see what JB's trying to do, right? And I think I took a small glimpse, Ty, at his quarterback room, and I don't think he needs CJ Stroud, man. I don't think he needs CJ Stroud. So
Daniels, Caleb, May, and JJ McCarthy. Yeah, I don't think CJ fits there.
No, especially in a 10 team, man. He doesn't need CJ, especially now looking at the team. And so you can see here he has a gaping hole at running back. And so sometimes, man, you got to pay a little bit of a premium, right? You got to pay a little bit of a premium to get the guy that you want. So if I'm JB, I'm going to lean the T Higgins 101 side, but I do think he gave up a little bit of value, but he's got an abundance of assets, man. I mean, look at this team. Like, it is so damn good. Like, it is so good.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, he can make luxury picks at this point. Like that's what these picks are for him. They're just luxury picks. He's just going to be filling out the rest of the team. And so, yeah, man, I'm okay to give up a little bit more value if I'm able to get the guy that I actually want and the one that actually helps me fill out my team a little bit more.
I'm just looking here, man. Like, there's no holes. Like, again, you got 101 to fix up running back. You got 1-4, 1-7, 2. You're going to be able to figure that out. So CJ Stroud, thanks for your services, but you're no longer needed in this room. I don't want to spend 109 in a future first on Higgins personally. Yeah, I think he's gonna get a bag very soon here, and he's probably gonna stay in Cincinnati.
Yep,
but
I agree.
I'm good on not spending that. Hey, maybe in a 10-team start 12 league, and maybe in your market, that's what it takes. If I have Neighbors, BTJ, Marv, Odunze, and Rice already, I'm not like eager to really spend that. But what the hell else is JB going to spend it on?
Right? I mean, yeah, I agree. I agree with that 100%.
So happy to take your side there, JB, but it's a good deal one way or the other. So a nice little spicy, thick deal for us here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had to. He made me go against CJ, man. Something that I'm not accustomed to doing. So I don't appreciate that, JB. I don't appreciate that.
Good job, JB. Appreciate it. Matt Witt gave us a couple this week. Actually, 12 team, start 10, Superflex, PPR, 2-point tight end premium, 6-point passing touchdown, -2 interceptions. Our boy got the Stroud side. So here we go, Gabe. Back to Stroud.
All right.
So we got Stroud, Waddle, 101, and the 2026 second. Everyone wants to move 101 now. Being acquired for Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr., Davante Adams, and Aaron Jones. All right, so I'm going to take this one for you, Gabe. So,
all right,
101 Marvin Harrison Jr. I've made deals where the point of the deal is pivoting off my 101 to get into Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. So I'm fine with that valuation. Again, 12 teams start 10, like fairly standard scoring with a 2-point tight end premium. Without context, I'm fine to cross that off. But do you have a lean one way or the other, 101 or Marv?
I think it's going to be kind of roster specific. Personally, I do think that the value side is on the 101. I do believe that right now there are people who really want no part of Marvin Harrison Jr. And so I do believe that the value is on the 101 side. But again, do I think Tet at being the wide receiver one currently is better than Marvin Harrison? I'm not going to say that, right? So I could see this going either way, I guess is kind of what I'm saying, right? It's really a matter of take your pick on who you like more, but I'm fine to cross both of those off, Ty.
I am as well. Now we got CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams. I'm looking at JB's tiers right now. Same tier. For fantasy calc, CJ Stroud, 10th in the 10th position, 24th overall. Caleb Williams, 9th in the position, 22nd overall. So fantasy calc has Caleb over Stroud. I know what you're gonna say, and I'm gonna lean with you. I'm gonna take Stroud over Caleb in a bubble. I mean, it feels like you're trading away 101 for who was 101 and 102 last year. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, so I mean, Stroud for Caleb, I have no issues with that swap. Take your pick. Like you're saying, the same playground. So it is what it is, but I'll just lean Stroud.
Yeah, I agree with that too. That's another one that's going to be an easy cross off for me. Personally, I am going to lean CJ Stroud as well. I mean, obviously I'm a little biased, right? And I like what Houston's doing out there on the offensive side. So not shipping away all their offensive linemen, but everything else I am a fan of. So I would lean CJ Stroud.
Okay, so we got Waddle in a second for Jones and Adams. So that 26 second, Aaron Jones feels like, I mean, Aaron Jones is probably going to be Aaron Jones until he's not. But what is that worth in Dynasty? So what do you do in there? 26 second or Aaron Jones?
I think that's just going to be roster specific. Again, I think I'm perfectly fine if I'm a contending team. I mean, I don't want to buy Aaron Jones right now in March personally, because I think there's a lot that can still shape out. A lot of things can still happen between now and the start of the regular season. And so I would lean the 26 second just again from a pure flexibility, liquidity standpoint. I know that I can go buy that Aaron Jones tie at any given time for 26 second. At any time, I can go and give up a 26 second and buy myself some Aaron Jones. And so for me, I would rather just have the flexibility right now and just keep the second just in case I need to buy something else or make another pivot rather than Aaron Jones. But I can't fault a contending team in March to want to buy Aaron Jones right now either. I personally am just the way I like to play. I'm not going to do that.
The old contending team in the non-point scoring season. Yep. Yeah, I mean, unless you're in a league with Skull for Life or Cheesehead Lover, I don't think you're getting anything for Aaron Jones. Like, I think you could probably send that second for Jones and get that done. But I agree. I don't need to do that today, but I'm fine to cross it off. So then we're looking at Waddle for Davante Adams. We've talked about Adams. I want to hear a little bit on Waddle from you. But, I mean, from a purely age standpoint, from like just what the general community would say, I'm going to say it's Waddle. But if we're looking pure points, man, like Adams has the chance to outscore for this season. So, like, what is that worth? But talk to me here. Waddle, Adams, what do you got?
This one, I mean, is hard, right? I think a lot of people really liked Jalen Waddle. And then last year, man, was just a really weird year for Miami. I mean, Tyreek wasn't Tyreek. Tua wasn't very Tua. Jalen Waddle was in and out of the lineup, right, with injuries, and it just wasn't a very efficient offense. And so I do believe that there are better days ahead. I do think that the second that Jalen Waddle starts to show flashes again, I mean, people are going to be bought right back into him. They really liked him. The community really, really likes him. So personally, I'm going to take Jalen Waddle over Davante Adams, even though I do think that there is a world where Davante Adams could potentially outscore Jalen Waddle next year. But I just know the cliff is coming, man, for Adams eventually. And eventually. And I just, I'm going to stick with the younger asset on this one. And just, this is a pure value game, if you will, for me, for Jalen Waddle and Adams. And I just expect things to get better for Jalen Waddle.
Yeah. I think just looking at the deals in totality, man, like from a pure flexibility standpoint with the fungibility of assets, like give me Stroud, give me Waddle, give me 101, give me the second. I can hopefully turn those things into those positional players that I want. If you want to be convicted on Caleb, Marv, Jones, Adams, I'll let you do it. I don't hate that at all, but I'll just take the equal flexible pick and take my chances and construct out a different way.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think you can make a lot of these pivots any given time. I mean, I know that some of the rookie drafts are starting to come up for people, but again, I think you can make some of these pivots at any given moment. So I'd rather just keep the flexibility and the liquidity and not have to worry about somebody getting injured or something happening. Xavier Worthy, beating somebody up or whatever that looks like, right? The pick's not going to do anything to me. So I'd rather just hold on to the pick for right now.
I feel you. How are we doing on battery, Gabe?
Doing great so far. We are 19%.
All right.
Rocking and rolling. If
Gabe drops, you know why. But
yeah. Gabe forgot to charge his computer. That's what happened today.
Toen's 37's got us though in a 12-team start 11 Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium. It's a 0.15 point per carry and a 5-point passing touchdown. Dynasty Daddy says that 26 first is going to be 102 or 103, and then they're sending away their 26 first as well to get into 101. Man, it's the 101 show. So again, 101 this year. Or are you looking to get a top pick in 26 and a future first added onto that as well? I mean, that feels, again, we said team specific so many times in the show, Gabe, but I can see teams where if it's the crown jewel and I'm giving up, something future and my pick that I think is going to be late, I can see myself spending that for Genty on the right team. But if I have a team that's not ready for Genty, or I'm just saying Genty because that's kind of what it feels like 101 is going to be valued as this year. I would also send that away for a high pick in 26 and a future first on a team that doesn't need a running back right now. So how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, right? So for me, this is one thing that I'll tell you, Ty. I know that we love to sit here and predict how picks are going to shape out, right? I know we can sit here and say, man, this team is awful. It looks like it's going to be the locked in 101. Guys, we're in March. We have no idea what that team is going to look like, man. And I can tell you right now from personal experience, like I have had teams that I thought was going to win me the ship. It's like this team, it can't be beaten. It can't be stopped. And then injuries plague me, and that 112 that I thought it was going to be ends up being the 103, 104, 105. And you're just like, damn, I had shipped away my pick because I thought it was going to be late. I bought this veteran, and next thing you know, I just gave up the 105 for Davante Adams. And you're just like, wow, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Yeah, it's pain. It's pain.
Just pain. Just pain.
And I know that there are people in the comment section that can definitely agree with that, right? So for me, it sounds like I'm reading here. It just says he's far and away the top contender in the league, right? So if you're far away the top contender, man, you're getting a luxury pick with Genty. I am perfectly happy with taking the guy right now to just continue to bolster up the roster and just keep making a push for it, right? I am perfectly happy with doing that. And so to your point, I prefer the 101 in this trade, but if Dommy Smith is rebuilding or is not ready to go, or he's like, man, one, there's not really any good quarterbacks. I don't really need Genty. Let me just move it to next year. I can't fault anybody, man, for getting into a top. I mean, he says 103 at worst, but let me just say 106 at worst, right? Like, let me just project that out a little bit more. Just again, you never know how things shape out, right?
You never ever know. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just say at worst of 106 and then a 26 first, a random 26 first. I'm perfectly fine with making that pivot, man. Again, if I don't need a Gentier, I don't need a Cam Ward or something of that equivalent, like I'm perfectly fine with kicking the can down the road, man.
100%. And Domi Swift is sending away his pick, which was 101. So I'm going to assume that team ain't ready for a Genti. So I like to know from both sides. It makes a lot of sense for you, Towins 37. It makes a lot of sense. So I like it. I like when these things fit. What the hell? All right. Remdog's got us here. I think this might be our last one. We got a Chick-fil-A logo. I don't know. I didn't know Chick-fil-A sponsored Sleeper, but that's cool. I mean, you're the Chick-fil-A master.
Hey, that means that man has an order that he's pending pickup or delivery. All right. So
of course
he was sending a screenshot while he was ordering some Chick-fil-A, and I respect that.
My man's efficient. He's multitasking, and in a 12-team start 10 Superflex PPR, 4 for a touchdown, -1 for an interception. Remdog gets into Puka and Saquon, both players we've talked about so far on this show. Sends away Jared Goff, DK Metcalf, Zach Charbonnet, and the 105. So Gabe, yeah,
I know what happened. I know what happened.
What happened?
He got hungry from just absolutely robbing somebody on this trade. That's what ended up happening.
He made a highway by the spoils of war.
Yeah, he's like, man, I just made a big come up. Let me order some Chick-fil-A to reward myself. That's what happened here.
FBI, open up!
Yeah, he had to get the Chick-fil-A in before the FBI showed up. No.
Yep.
Well, talk me through it. Why is it a smash?
I mean, I guess from looking at this deal, right? We've talked about Saquon Barkley, so let me just start there, right? Again, we talked about Saquon 101, what that would look like. So I'm going to go 105 and Zach Charbonnet for Saquon. Personally, I still don't feel like that is enough for Saquon. But
no.
If somebody's making a pivot, I can understand where you're coming from, right? I can understand you're like, hey, I don't need Saquon on this team. Let me make a pivot. I mean, right now, Ty, looking at the ADP for rookies, 105 is looking like Travion Henderson, Emeka Egbuka, maybe Shadur if he's there. I mean, dude, I'm not going to want to grab Travion Henderson or Egbuka for Saquon Barkley and Zach Charbonnet. Like, I'm not going to want to do that personally. So for me, I have a little bit of a lean to Saquon. Puka Nacua for DK, I want Puka like well more than you could add a first to DK and I still want Puka, right? So just right off of the bat there's a little bit of value for me personally on Saquon already. And then Jared Goff, I mean, he's kind of valued as a first, maybe a little bit more than a first, depending on how you view the situation. But so let's just say DK and a first for Puka. Again, I still am going to lean Puka. So I just think Remdog got the two best assets, man, pretty easily in this deal.
Yep. But
especially in a 4-point passing touchdown, man.
Yeah.
Goff is cool, but yeah, not in the format, man. There's no shot. Like, give me the two absolute hammers, absolute studs. And that's why I made the assumption that this man just got hungry from absolutely just taking this guy out and was like, you know what? I need to replenish the energy that I just, used from celebrating. He's like, let me get some Chick-fil-A.
Gotta watch your fluid levels, watch those sugar levels, make sure you get your chickens right and get your mentals right. Yeah, I mean, I have Goff in many a league, and the first value, I would love to get that on some teams, especially these ones where I have like Jared Goff as quarterback 3, but no one's paying me that right now, right?
Absolutely.
And I mean, I know I'm in leagues where I could send Saquon out for 105 straight up, and the person with the 105 would just reject it because Saquon isn't not young running back, and that's the end of the analysis. So I agree. I am sending Charbonnet at 105 for Barkley happily. I'm sending Goff and Metcalf for Puka happily. If Goff's my quarterback 1, maybe I'm not as eager to get into like a Saquon and consolidate that further. But I mean, I just don't see a world where I'm not taking the Barkley or Puka side here.
Yeah. I mean, again, even if we were to split it a different way, right? Let's say DK 105 for Puka. Where are you at there?
It's probably still Puka. Like,
it's probably pretty close. Like it's probably close. Yeah. So Saquon for Jared Goff and Zach Charbonnet. I mean, there's no world like where I'm doing that, especially in a 4-point passing touchdown, man. Like there's no world where I'm wanting to give up Saquon Barkley for Jared Goff and Zach Charbonnet.
And let me tell you why, right? Because I mean, like Goff, he can be viewed as like a safe and secure quarterback asset. Absolutely, like good situation, good team. But I'm just gonna bet like week over week, like he could fall into that quarterback 12 to 16 range on a given week, especially if it's a big Gibbs and Monty week and they're just running the piss out of the ball.
Yep.
I'll bet that I can figure out quarterback for cheaper, find the starts where I do throw in like that quarterback 20 and just have that delta gap be small enough where I can make a deal and use Barkley and Nacua to actually get the difference makers in my league, So if I have like a Goff, a Metcalf, a Charbonnet, a 105, all these assets that don't have that elite steam, and I can mush them and duct tape them together and go get 2 elite cats, that's a winning move in fantasy football, in my opinion. So
yeah.
I like that, Remdog. I like that a lot.
Yep.
All right. Let me see here. I'll do a quick scroll here just to see if we have any more deals that I forgot, but I think we got all the ones we were going to hit here, Gabe. So,
I still have a percentage or two if you want to give it one more.
Or two. No, we're good, man. I want you to be here for the outro. So thanks so much. I know it's been again, this is not my house. There's people in the kitchen partying right now, so this is totally out of left field. But thank you, people, for sticking around, hanging out with Gabe and I. I had a crazy week myself. Again, I was using my cell phone from work to tether a network just so I could have Wi-Fi for the week. So it's been a week. All I wanted to do, though, was talk ball with the kid and with the people. So hope y'all enjoyed. Got anything else going on today, Gabe? And where can the people find you online? And any final thoughts? Get them out while you still have battery.
Yeah, no. I got plenty, man. I got plenty. So I know, again, you guys can definitely find me on X at iGabe_FF. Again, I'm in the Discord, chopping it up with the guys all the time too. Feel free to hit me in there with any questions that you have or anything that you guys need. Like I see fantasy football related, I'm definitely happy to sit there and talk with you guys. I know we are getting ready to start the Dynasty Trades show as well. I know we hadn't touched on that, but we actually just met with Bob, and so we're starting to get everything rocking and rolling there too. So hopefully we'll start sending out some invites here soon for that. But no, man, I think this is a really good time in fantasy. Again, I think you can definitely get the edge on some of your teammates by just paying attention and just being flexible, right, with the assets that are moving around. So yeah, like I said, overall though, man, I love talking ball with you, Ty, and definitely looking forward to it, man, next week.
Hell yeah, man. Well, hey, let's give a little something to the people here, okay? So we've been trying to figure out a name for the All Gas Trade Show, Dynasty League, whatever. Drop your comment. Like a fun name for that league. Petrol, I don't know. Go crazy, right? Fuel Up Friday, I don't care, right? If you drop a name and you give us a good name for the league, you're in, bar none. You secured your spot. So drop it in the comments what you think the league should be called. And while you're doing that, while you're waiting for us to get back to you, head on over to ddfantasyfootball.com. Use code TRADEGOAT. Get in there. Use the Trinity Tracker. Use the War Tracker. Get in the Discord. Hop in voice chat. Chop it up with us. We'll talk about the league. We'll probably do a voice chat live draft there with the people. We'll probably be in there for a week just going over that draft. So make sure you're in there for that. Underdog, use code ALLGAS. Get up to 1,000 at sign up. And your special pick, patreon.com/allgas for all that goodness. Again, like, share, subscribe. This is all free, man. Like, we're taking time out of our Saturdays just to talk with you, the people, because we like doing this. So all we ask, hit like, hit subscribe, give us a comment, and we'll keep the conversation going down below. But until next time, Gabe, hope you all take care. Have a great week. We got new information to work with here. So let's go make some deals, make those conviction bets now before things get clear. If people got opportunity and people want to buy that, let's go sell that right now. So have fun. Take care. We'll see you next week. We out of this thing. Peace. Cool, man. We got through it. We did.